JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 8th of December, excuse me, 2022. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute an investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us, guys. So now then, guys, jumping into the charts, the first one actually I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, and there we go. Look at this. I talked about this, and so far it kind of did everything what I was hoping it would do. So what I was saying, that if we stay below the this 27,692 territory, my next target will be the 100 and the 200-day EMAs, and if those get cleared, then my next target is this area near that 27,400 level. So, well, we actually reached almost all those targets. I mean, of course, the EMAs got pierced through. Yep, that's fine. And we then reached this area close to this 27,400 zone. However, what's interesting here is that the bulls managed to drive this one back above the EMAs and close the index above these two EMAs. So what does that mean? That means that maybe there is actually a bit of fight here, and maybe it's not really only the bear field here. So maybe the bulls want to run around here as well, a little bit at least. However, they have some obstacles on the way higher. A bunch of these levels that I spoke about previously, I think a few need to be adjusted. I think this has to go. Yeah, we have the 21-day EMA as well. So look, the another important obstacles on the way higher is, of course, first of all, the 27,692, then is the 21-day EMA, and then it's the psychological 28,000 mark, so roughly somewhere around here. Now, if we want to go higher, I would say yes, a break of this little short-term tentative downside resistance line is required. At the moment, I will just kind of stick to more to the downside. But for that, I would need to see a nice good drop again below all of these EMAs, and then I'll aim for these, for this area here, support area, and if that gets cleared, well, guess what? Further declines here could be possible. Now, jumping into Shanghai Composite. So this one traded, still traded below this 200-day EMA. Now, look, I mean, I would say there is still potential for the bears to step in, of course, because again we're struggling with that 200-day EMA. However, I have the same problem with the you know, for the bulls here. I mean, the bulls can step in, but again, I need to see that clearance of the 200-day EMA, and I would like to see the body of the daily candle staying above it. So to be honest, at this point, it's way too difficult. Yes, of course, you can say that, let's say, as long as we stay below the 200-day EMA, then there is still potential for this one to drift lower. Of course, I mean, that is for sure. However, I don't like when it's like just undecisive like that, so I just kind of prefer to be a little bit more decisive. Yep. However, again, I cannot really do much, so probably my preferred scenario here will be to the upside, but for that I need to see a pop above this 200-day EMA. As long as it stays below this 200-day EMA, it still could go for a bit of a retracement here to the downside. However, I am not gonna do anything with the downside here because, again, somehow it seems like it's struggling to go lower. So normally if it wants to go, it goes, you know, but yeah, it's at the moment it's struggling. So that's why I'm just kind of examining the upside scenario for now. Oh, by the way, I can see there's a bunch of data that came out from Japan. Yeah, there we go. So GDP figures came out better than the expected. So yeah, well, better than expected. They managed better than expected, but just still remained in kind of, let's say, if we take the Q on Q, QOQ. Q3 GDP number, it came out minus 0.02%. Of course, the expectation was minus 0.3, but still it's in the minus because the previous one was plus 1.1. So still a contraction, you know. So the same story with the year-on-year number. So yeah, not the best. I mean, and that's why probably Nikkei didn't really, react in a very positive manner. However, maybe the buyers at the end they kicked in and said, hey, maybe not everything is that bad, and they started jumping in, and that's why we traveled back above this EMA. Those EMAs. Anyway, so yeah, with in terms of Shanghai Composite, that's the kind of the boring game plan. To be honest, I really, again, it's one of those that maybe it's not meant to be at this point. ASX 200. Now that's one interest. Now this one's interesting. Look at this. Broke below this upside line, and we fell below the 21-day EMA as well. So what I said before, that if we do drop below this upside line, I'll go lower, initially aiming for that 21-day EMA, and then maybe for these two levels, the 7,117 and 7,083 territory. Also, my trigger point was this 7,177, which we managed to violate and clear. So everything's looking a little bit more bearish, I would say. So let's say I am right now, I am ideally I am targeting this 7,083 territory. Nasdaq 100. So looking at this picture here, you can see that we have remained above that 11,500 territories. So that's quite interesting. And if we take a look at the cash index right now, we'll see that yes, we are also trading slightly below it. However, I don't want to be like very, speculative here or something, but it just forces me to do so. Look, it seems like we have something of a broadening triangle pattern right here. So if I take this and I'll recycle this this upside line, I'll reuse it and I'll draw it this way. Now you'll see that yes, it's a little bit more clear now. So we are having this nice broadening triangle pattern. So that means that, hey, of course, if that's the case, then if we just go purely from the technical analysis books and everything, so the prevailing trend was to the upside. Now, again, here it's always it's not as clear as it should be, but if the prevailing trend was to the upside, then we can class this as a temporary like consolidation here, and then it could break out higher later on. However, we have seen this breaking out lower as well, so that's why it's still we're still getting to the back to the same point, that we need to wait for that clear breakout before we could do anything here. So apologies for going silent there a little bit, guys. I mean, my cough caught me just suddenly. So, okay. So yeah, like I said, the broadening triangle pattern, it's again, it could be seen as a continuation pattern. However, we did see this breaking out lower as well, or let's say in the opposite direction. But in this scenario, look, I will say it this way. We are very close to the lower side of this triangle. So that means that there is a chance that we could see a break here lower, but I'm not saying that this could be like a very drastic move to the downside, because look, we have this other short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 13th of October here, so which could could kind of provide a bit of support from where we could rebound and push back to the upside. So we cannot exclude this scenario as well. So that's why I'm gonna put this arrow right here. However, of course, I'm going to be carefully monitoring this situation. If we can rebound from the lower side of this broadening triangle, and if we can, then yes, I will go higher. If you want to be a little bit maybe more on the safe side, look, you can keep an eye on the 21-day EMA here. And then, let me just, I think I need to remove, yep, there we go. If we can keep an eye on that, yeah, on that 21-day EMA, if we pop above it, then yes, I'll go towards that 100-day EMA. And if we clear that one, I'll go further north. So this is how you can play this one, play the game. But again, do not forget that maybe, let's say, this could break out lower here because we're very close to the lower side of the triangle. Dow Jones Industrial Average. This one did decline, continued to decline, and yeah, but the thing is that it kind of remained flat for the day. So again, do we have something like a broadening triangle here? No, not really, but what do we have here is something else. If you remember, I talked a lot about this idea where, you know, whenever we break a trend line here, we kind of go higher or lower, and then we kind of reverse. Then we go back to this trend line, test it, and then we rebound, and, you know, let's say rebound or you know, get a rejection. Depends on which direction, and yeah, then we, let's say in this scenario here, if it does go lower, I am keeping an eye on this downside line here, and yeah, if we do rebound from this, then great, I will go to the upside again. This highlighted area has to go. I think no longer needed. It needs to be adjusted. Some of the levels here, yep, this peak here, that's something that I'm going to be watching. This highest point of November, near the 34,590 level. This has to go. I think it's better to mark this inside swing low, which also coincides with the 21-day EMA. So in other words, yeah, if we do pop above the 33,584 territory, back above it, then yes, I will go. And if we remain above this area, I will go back to the upside here, something like that, basically. The German index, DAX. So yeah, declined nicely, drifted lower. Look, I talked about this 14,327 level. I said that, hey, keep your eyes on it. I mean, you know, if we break that, then my next target is the 21-day EMA, and if we clear that one, then it's the 14,150 level, which, well, according to the cash index here, I can see that we are currently sitting at around 14,277. Excuse me. And yeah, we're currently getting a hold up here. So look, if we do somehow climb back above the 14,327, then yes, I will maybe consider a move back to the upside. Look, at the moment, it's a very difficult one. The fact is that, yes, the 21-day EMA so far is providing good support. If, let's say, you are looking for some downside, now, look, I'm going to draw my favorite Fibonacci here. So I can draw it from somewhere around here up until here, and you'll see that we are kind of we still have a bit of room here until the 23.6, which conveniently almost coincides with this little area. There we go. And actually, I would say perfectly coincides with the highest point of August of this year. So, long story short, if you're looking for some downside, then you have reasonable grounds to kind of go lower. But for that, first, I would need to see a good drop below the 21-day EMA, and then maybe also a drop below the 14,150 level. So keep that in mind. For the upside, I will take a very, very conservative approach here and wait for a push above the 14,584, something like that, around here. Let me just, yeah, that's the one, 85. So 14,585, a nice good clear above that level. Yeah, clearance above that level could open the door towards that highest point of June of this year, or the highest point of March of this year. Now, DXY, the dollar index. So, looking at this picture here, you can see that, yeah, the 200-day EMA provided good reasonable resistance. Just bear with me one moment. Okay, guys, I do apologize for that. My throat is killing me. I think I need to lower down on my tone a little bit. Yeah, but anyway, look, the holdup happened near the 200-day EMA. This is what I was saying. I was saying that look, if we're gonna get a holdup, there is of course there could be an indication that still the bears are not done here, and we could see another drift lower. So far, I would say if we continue to trade below the 200-day EMA, I will go lower. I'll aim for the not this level. I think the charts didn't save yesterday. I was kind of drawing something else here, so this is what I've drawn. So I will aim for this current lowest point of December near the 104.11. But if that gets cleared, guys, then well, this is where yeah it could open the door towards the 101.30 level. For the upside, a break of this downside line is required. Gold. Look at this roller coaster ride here. So yeah, we pushed higher, we traveled north, and we have ended. Actually, you remember yesterday I talked about this potential idea of a bearish flag or something like that. Well, this is one of those moments where it kind of said, no, it's not a bearish flag, it's going to be something else. And well, this is one of those moments. Yeah, you kind of have to, change your evaluation kind of very, very quickly once it starts working against you. So, and this is what I do. Kind of, initially I look at it in one way, what's the most likely scenario. But then if it suddenly starts working against me, then this is where I need to reevaluate things again. And actually, that's a normal approach. So you have to adjust to the changing market very quickly. And you need to know kind of when to kind of just leave it, not do anything, just kind of, leave it there. So yeah, and this is the point where at the moment, I don't know, because again, look, ideally, what I was saying yesterday, if we do pop back above the 1786 territory and stay above it, I will go higher. Well, at the moment we're just getting, we're stalling here. We're not really doing much, so it's a bit of a tricky one. And for the downside, I would actually prefer to wait for a drop actually below this lower side of this potential rising channel where we are currently in. I'm hoping that this is a rising channel, but hey, let's see. From the shorter term perspective, the way you can kind of try to play this is if we do drop below the 1768 territory right here, then yes, I will go to the downside towards the lower side of the rising channel. WTI oil. So WTI oil continues to trade lower. Yeah, we fell to the downside here, and to be honest, it's just it continues to go in my direction. I talked about this, and I said that if we do fall below this hurdle, below this 73. Sorry, 70, is that 74 or 73? 76.28, is that correct? Let me just remove some of the levels. I think they're a little bit in the way here. So yeah, 76.28, that's where I said that if we do drop below it, I'll go lower. My next target will be the 74.30 and the 73.30 as well. We've managed to reach those targets, managed to clear that. Now the question here is what to do next. Now I think, again, this is where I need to redraw a few levels. And I think that first thing is to get rid of these two. These have been reached, so let's get rid of them. Now, the way we can look at it is we can keep an eye on this lowest point of November, which right now, excuse me, could be seen as a good resistance level. Now, the 73.62, that's the lowest point of November. If we continue to trade below it, I will go towards the next target here, and the next target for mine is the 66.15, which could be quite a reasonable target here. Of course, we all know the whole kind of situation with Russia and the oil cap. So if if the cap is kind of around $60, then I think that this is where it's going to start adjusting. All the the prices will start adjusting, and WTI oil will drift nicely to the downside here. The Brent oil will slide as well. So it will have its effect. So at the moment everything's looking quite interesting. And to be honest, I'm leaning further south as long as we stay below this 73.62. If we do climb back above it, I'll take a neutral stand. If we do push back above the 76.28, this could give me an indication that, hey, there could be some upside here installed. But in order for me to consider the upside now, at this point, I would like to see a push above this area, above this downside line, taken from the high of the 7th of November, because at the same time I would climb above the 21-day EMA. And of course my ideal scenario is this 82.10 level right here, which I'm keeping a close eye on. Bitcoin, haven't looked at Bitcoin for quite a while, and as we can see here, yeah, it's still hugging that 21-day EMA, really not doing much. Of course, we could start drawing some lines and trying to find some sort of logic in here, but it's very difficult. Look, if we draw this downside line this way, it's a tentative line, very tentative, and it's we can try to manipulate it, sorry, the way we want it, but again, it's not going to give us a very clear picture. So that's why at the moment I think the technicals are really not working here on in the crypto world. So I think that you have to just purely rely on fundamentals. Look, I'll keep this downside line here. This one's taken from the high of the 28th of March. If we do pop above it, then yes, I'll go higher. But if we struggle with that, then hey, you know, it's a difficult one. It's really a difficult one here because we do have some other lines as well, so which could be, you know, in the way. So look, I would say the easiest option here is right now is just to, if you are holding it, just continue holding it. You know, like, I mean, if it might go further south, don't get me wrong, but hey, let's see if, you know, if we can break some of these tentative downside lines. If we can, great, you know, we'll go towards that 200-day EMA. AUD/JPY, guys. AUD/JPY, it's a beautiful rebound here from this territory, from this area, from this 91 zone. I talked about this, said previously that if we do drop below the 200-day EMA, I'm going to aim for that 91 zone, which we managed to reach, and we managed to rebound from it. Now, what's next? Well, again, this 91 territory becomes quite an important area of support. So, what are we looking at here? We are looking at this little area as a potential breakout. Why is it important? Not only that it was a good area of support, but also could be part of this descending triangle. So if this is a descending triangle, and sure looks like one, then of course according to all the TA rules these tend to break to the downside, but a confirmation breakout is required. So at the moment, yes, we are getting a bit of a retracement here. So I would say very simple, if we continue to trade here in this territory, I will inside this pattern, I will remain neutral, and I'll wait for a better kind of breakout here, a better, you know, entry point. And one of my better entry points will be this potential breakout through one of the sides of this triangle. AUD/CHF. This one's still in a range, and I think I have to mark it as a range actually, because I think it will be reasonable to do so. So look, something like that is here, and yeah, if we do continue to trade inside this pattern, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just observing the price action. And I'm waiting for a clear breakout here. I talked about this yesterday, so the same game plan remains valid. AUD and ZD, one of my favorite ones. Look at yesterday's candle, guys. Not today's, but yesterday's. Beautiful pin bar, and look at the kind of activity which we had here over the past kind of 3 days here. I mean, look at these dojis here, pin bar dojis, shooting stars, whatever you want to call them, like whatever you want to call these small-bodied candles. I mean, this is, talk about a battle here between the bulls and the bears. So far, it seems like a few more bears are winning. Kind of, you know, the bears are a little bit, you know, have the upper hand a little by a little bit. Yeah, if we do kind of, can see the bears winning further, then certainly, yes, further declines are possible, but we're currently getting a nice hold up here near this 1.0564, and what I said to you previously, that as long as we stay above this area, I will consider a move to the upside here. So long story short, if you want to go higher, a good option here is to wait for a pop above the 1.0612 right here. There is still potential for the downside. We haven't seen like a although we're getting these reversal signals, but we didn't see that clear reversal yet, so there is potential still for the downside. And my next target for the downside is this 1.0504 area right here. And then we will have to just take it from there. But of course, certainly it does look very attractive for the upside. Can we get that move higher? Well, let's wait and see. USD JPY. So I'm still struggling to get back above the 137.67. Yeah, look, I mean, although everything's looking quite bearish, I would say here, still a drop back below the 200-day EMA is required. Below this black line, that's what I need to see in order to go south. Certainly, we do have this obstacle, which is the current lowest point of December here, the 133.63. But I think it might not be an issue if we do drop below that 200-day EMA. So more sellers could join in, and we could even drag this one towards the 130.40. GBP USD. So yeah, my rising veg pattern is still working out. We did get a rebound from that 200-day EMA. That's fine. If you remember my crazy idea yesterday of maybe seeing this as a possible head and shoulders, a beginning of the head and shoulders pattern. Well, as I said before, like, I mean, keep that idea just as as a second idea. The first one is still the rising veg pattern, but ignore all of it if we do pop above the upper side of this pattern, and then yeah, we'll go higher, and this is where we will ignore, like I said, this whole rising veg idea. So long story short, from the short-term perspective, if you want to play this to the downside, then probably the best option is to keep an eye on that 200-day EMA, which is roughly around that 1.21 zone. A drop below it may lead to a slight move lower. GBP Aussie, something that I don't look at very often, but hey, look at this. We are near this key resistance area. We did have a few overshoots here, as you can see, but this 1.82 zone is doing its magic and providing good resistance. So what's next? Well, a good breakout here could be possible. Of course, once again, if we do pop above it and stay above it, great, I will go higher. If we continue to struggle with it, well, then of course I need to relook at everything and start searching for something logical, maybe like this, or something like maybe like this instead. So could be an ascending triangle here, so maybe we could see a bit of retracement. There are, like I said, there are a bunch of options, but all of them kind of go back to the same point. Wait for that confirmation break. If we do get it, great, I'll go higher, let's say in this case, in the upside scenario case. For the downside, I will prefer to wait for a break below this upside line taken from the low of the 14th of November. Simple as that. EURUSD, something also that I don't look at very often. Look at this. I mean, a while ago I talked about this, and my previous analysis was like, what, if we do pop above this barrier, I'll go towards the 1.3808. Well, we kind of exceeded that a little bit. I mean, it worked, but it did exceed it a little bit. But if we can call that a little. Excuse me. So, what's next? The next, I think, step is to actually remove all the drawings and start fresh. Now, of course, a lot of you are hoping to go short here, maybe to scalp this one a little bit, maybe, for the downside. Certainly, you wouldn't be wrong there. However, you probably, you were already thinking to go scalp this one maybe somewhere around here already, maybe here. But hey, look, it continues to move higher. So how much more it can go higher? That's a good question. Now, one thing for now I can see that we got a hold up around this territory. So this high of the 24th of January of this year, Here it's also, you can see that we had a good hold up back in February, in mid-February. This is also acted as a good area of support, and then we eventually broke it at the end of February. But hey, eventually this level did provide good resistance and support. Now it's acting as a good area of resistance because we're currently getting a nice hold up here. Can we break that? Well, that's a good question. If we do break this, my next target is somewhere maybe around here actually. So near this 1.4630 territory, approximately around there. It's not exactly that one, but yeah, approximately around here. So long story short, if we do pop and stay above the 1.4373 territory here, I will go higher, and then I'll potentially consider maybe a move towards this area. Although it sounds very drastic, but it is a pair which does like to move in a drastic way. Like for example, maybe we're having something like this, like we had back in, in 2020, where when the pandemic hit, when everybody was placed into a lockdown, and yeah, this is where it rallied. It rallied strongly, and the fact that right now oil is declining, and we have a direct correlation with oil. The Canadian dollar has a direct correlation with oil. So, look, we could see the Canadian dollar devaluating further, just because kind of. We have a problem with the oil price, which is dropping. So, long story short, all these pairs which have like CAD in it, they might, let's say AUD CAD, Euro CAD, GBP CAD, USD CAD, those could still see some strength. They could go a little bit higher, but again, at one point it will have to correct. Don't get me wrong, but just like I said, be very careful if you are looking for a good short here. I think that it's not the time yet. I think that there could still be potential for the upside, because like I said, these pairs, the CAD pairs, they do like these big moves. So where they take out a lot of traders, and because everybody's kind of anticipating the same thing. So either you scalp, then go for very, very short, like small profits, or you kind of wait for a better signal, and especially on the daily chart, to do so and to do anything about it. But again, yourselves, guys, better. It's not, like I said, it's not advice here. It's just what to do better. And for me personally, I'm currently watching this. For me, this 1.4373 territory is quite an interesting one. I'm watching this as a good potential area of resistance. However, will it hold? Now that's a good question, because everybody sees that in the market right now, and maybe this is a good opportunity that a lot of traders will go short here. It will kind of bounce around here and eventually will pop strongly to the upside, take a lot of short sellers, and then maybe it'll reverse somewhere around here and then go down. So I just kind of wanna observe this one. It will provide a good opportunity. I think just you need to kind of think about that, that it won't be a perfect entry. It will be something, like you'll have to wait until it will drop significantly and then go, sell, or something like that. So that's why now at this point I will remain just kind of not neutral, but just probably neutral. I'm just gonna continue kind of considering the fact that there could be some more upside. EURUSD, this one's interesting. Look. We have a falling channel, and I talked about it already. And so far, as long as it remains within the falling channel, there could still be potential for the downside. However, what I'm seeing right now is something quite interesting, because look, we had this nice pole, and this is could be a nice nice flag formation. So if that's the case, then it is a bullish flag. However, we're still within the falling channel pattern, so it could go higher. It could test the upper side of the falling channel, but then if it struggles, then it could drift back to the downside. So that's why, if you want to go higher, you still need to wait for a break of this downside line. Above this, a break above the upper side of the falling channel, because at the same time, look at this perfect level. It's the high of the 5th of December, the highest point of this week. the current highest point of this week, 1.6655. At the same time, it also kind of almost coincides with the 200-day EMA. Well, talk about a perfect kind of point here, and at the same time, it would break the upper side of the falling channel. So, long story short, I need that confirmation break here. Euro USD. For here, I think it's time to, I think I removed the drawings here yesterday because I've, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the chart didn't save properly, so I did draw a potential idea here of a maybe something like a rising channel. Again, I'm not saying that this is the case, but sure could be, because look, maybe something like this is possible here, and let me it's not ideal, it's not working nicely here. Just bear with me one moment, guys. Look, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, but just I want to put it as a visual, nice visual here. Yeah, there we go, something like that. So again, so far we're moving within the rising channel pattern. Again, will this be just a continuation pattern right now? Could be the case, but yeah, break, I think for me, and if in order to consider this as a continuation pattern, like continuation to the upside pattern, then I need to see a pop somewhere above this 1.06 territory. If we do get that pop, I'll go higher, and my next target will be somewhere around here, the 1.0787, and then we'll take it from there, guys. For the downside, obviously a drop below the lower side of the rising channel was needed, and at the same time, look, we could get a drop below the 200 and the 21-day EMAs. Okay, that's kind of it. Sorry for the kind of, the quick short exit from the video, but I'll have to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your views, your likes, your comments, everything, guys. So really appreciate that. So thank you very much. If you want to catch me tomorrow actually, yes, I hope I will be able to do the video in the morning, but it might be like a 50-50 chance here. So yeah, there is a few some of the things that I have to attend, so if I'll be able to do it, great. But yeah, looking forward, guys. If I will be able to do tomorrow's video, great. I'll see you there. If not, then there could be an issue. I think on Monday as well. I might not be able to. No, it's okay. I think, yeah, it should be okay. Yeah. So yeah, guys. Monday should be fine. So if not, I'll see you on Monday. But I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, guys, and bye bye.